Hello, Wednesday2112 here, and welcome to a brand new series called Movie Shack, where I take a look at different films and do reviews on them. I got the feeling I'm going to enjoy making this series, so how about we start with a somewhat little known mature rated movie. Yes, we're going to be looking at Mutafas today, also known as MFKZ in English speaking countries for obvious reasons. Released in 2017 and directed by Sojiro Nishimi and Guillaume Renard, the latter of which is the creator of the comic of the same name. Was this movie made by geniuses, or made by a bunch of, dare I say it, motherfuckers? Let's find out. The movie's main characters are Angelino and Vince, a pair of friends who live in an apartment in Dark Meat City. The summary, while not going to do many spoilers, is as follows. Angelino, after seeing a girl he likes, suffers a scooter accident which causes him to develop not only a headache, but also supernatural powers that allow him to see various monstrous figures going around the city, making him wonder if there really is an invasion going on, or if he's just going mad. So they go off on an adventure to go to the bottom of this, which leads to gang wars, theft, people in black suits on the prowl, and a secret that's been hiding inside Angelino. So I just listed a summary. The story can be sort of difficult to follow for first-time viewers, as well as a little bit slow. No, it isn't totally boring and tedious, like a certain other movie. But once you understand everything, it'll start to be clear. It isn't too confusing, so that's at least a good thing. The animation in this movie is outstanding. It was animated by animation company Studio 4 Degrees Centigrade, and if you've ever seen any of their work, like Tech on Kincrete or their segments in Animatrix, you'll know that they're quality. It's fluid and has a lot of charm to it. The camera shots are well done, and it never feels jumpy, nor does it feel too choppy. I really like the set pieces too, and the colours and saturations in those scenes are just right and fit the mood. Dark Meat City has normally warmer colours, which represent how much of a hellhole DMC is, and seeing Palm Hill gave me some Grand Theft Auto San Andreas vibes, which I thought was pretty cool. And during the more brooding and evil scenes, the colours get more desaturated. Basically, the colours are fitting to the mood. Although it's not the most beautiful movie I've ever seen, it is still fun to watch, and the effects, explosions, and other details are very interesting as well. This movie features a decent amount of action too. It can be pretty violent and graphic, with the different battles and gunshots going around, like the fight between Angelino and the black-suited men, for example. Though it is a very violent movie. It's not the most violent movie ever, but the detail of violence is pretty deep, so take that in mind. I also really enjoy the characters. Angelino is a young man who owns a lot of pet cockroaches, who receives supernatural powers after suffering the scooter accident. He also goes on a psychotic killing spree whenever his heart starts pumping hard. However, you want him to win. He's not a bad person or anything. Whenever he's in a bad situation, you'll definitely feel bad for him, especially since he had a very dark infancy. We got Vince, who is Angelino's best friend and has a skull that goes on fire. I like him because he's more of a sensible thinker, but still a likable friend. We also got Willie, who's more of a worrisome type. He is another friend of Angelino and Vince, but he doesn't get as much screen time. While I do think he can be funny, I don't like him as much as Angelino or Vince, and he is a big loser, but not loathsome. The villains, like Crocodile and Bruce, are vicious, as is Mr. K, who I'd say is the most despicable of all. I don't want to go into too much detail out of fear of spoilers, but basically speaking, he manipulates Angelino. Luna, Angelino's love interest, is also a very cute and very sweet woman, but I feel she could do with some more screen time to make the relationship of Angelino and Luna more memorable. The Palm Hill gang is cool too, especially Shakespeare, since he quotes Shakespeare, which I find a nice touch to his character. We also got the wrestlers like El Diablo and El Tigre, which while their designs are admittedly cool, they were probably the most forgettable characters in the movie to me. The voice acting in the movie is very middling for a lot of people. I know a good amount of people who don't like the voice acting, specifically in the English version. This movie was originally made in French, but later got dubbed into English, and the few people I have read did say to watch it subbed because apparently the dub sucks, but honestly, I didn't find the voice acting that bad. Sure, it wasn't perfect, and I imagine the French dub might be a little better, but I didn't see it in French, so I can't really say anything about it. I thought the voice work in the movie fit the characters pretty well, and I didn't really have much to complain about. The emotions were natural and believable. Although one thing that some people might complain about, and understandably I might add, is the excessive amount of strong language in the movie. I mean, with the movie literally called Mutafas, it's kinda a dead giveaway. In fact, I think this is the first movie I've ever seen that has a swear in the title. I know others exist, but this is my first one I've seen. This movie definitely isn't one for kids, and the title wants you to make sure of it. The dialogue in this movie is fine enough, but the excessive use of strong language can put off some viewers, particularly those who heavily dislike said bad language. But it's fine if you're a person who doesn't mind strong language in movies. It's all really down to if you can handle it. Everyone's got different tastes after all. It's also worth noting that throughout the movie, questions pop up on the screen, which while they are technically unnecessary, I thought was a cool and kind of funny touch. It makes it have a sort of comic booky feel to it, which makes sense since this did start as a comic book series. I did read somewhere that the questions are pointless, since the audience doesn't know the answer, but I'm pretty sure they're not meant to answer. These questions were never aimed at the audience to begin with. It's just there to make it feel more like a comic, which I can totally get behind. The soundtrack in the movie is mainly hip-hop, dubstep, and rap, and while I do think it's okay and it fits with the scenes, it isn't the most memorable soundtrack in the world, but I suppose music taste is down to personal preference, and I just didn't find it my cup of tea. Now, even though this movie isn't a comedy, there were moments which I found amusing. One part I liked was when Angelino and Vince made a getaway with an ice cream truck, which not only reminded me of GTA again, but I also found it pretty funny, and cool how the beat of the ice cream truck synced with the score. Also, another funny part was when Willie was very eager to go to the bathroom, but then Angelino had to call him, so Willie had to drag his phone all the way to the bathroom, and he was so eager to go. That part was also chuckle-worthy, and while more of a sweet moment than an amusing one, even Angelino's cockroaches care about him and try to look for him when he's missing. They sure do have a sense of direction, I can give him that. Now, are there other things I didn't like about this movie? Well, at some points the movie can get too edgy, but not overly so. There's at least a creative reason for it, since it did kinda start out as a mature comic anyway. But on a thematic level, there is a sort of reason. I mean, DMC is literally a polluted city with crime, and Palm Hill is a ghetto with gangs, so I didn't know what other route one can take. And as stated before, the movie can have some scenes that might be off-putting for some, being a violent R-rated movie and all. So, what's the bottom line? Well, we got some good and some bad. The animation's amazing, the interesting story is good, the action's exciting, the characters are cool, we got good voice acting, and the soundtrack's okay, well, not my cup of tea. Unfortunately, it can be slow for first-time viewers, the wrestlers weren't interesting, and it's not a movie for everyone. While I personally wouldn't mind watching it again, I can't recommend it to everyone, given that it's got a lot of violence and bad language in it. Basically a lot of mature moments in it, as it were. I know there are a good few people that don't particularly like this movie, but I also know a good amount that do, so if you can handle mature, violent things like RoboCop with strong language a la 22 Jump Street, then by all means, go for it. It is a movie that is more preferred with audiences over critics after all. So, final verdict, I give Mutafakas, also known as MFKZ, 4 stars out of 5. It's a fun distraction but has some flaws, and impossible to recommend for everyone. It's a decent film, not one of the best animated movies I've ever seen, but I enjoyed it enough to feel the urge to watch again. And that is my first entry in my Movie Shack series. I had fun making this review, but leave comments below about improvements I can make, or even movies I can review, and if I've seen it, I'll give it a go. Thank you for watching, this is WorldJake 2012, signing out.